So welcome to the last week, because we're on Breathe, the book club. So yes, David was mentioning how the walking meditation is very similar to Tai Chi. And when we were in the fellowship, we did a walking meditation, and it was the Qigong instructor that kind of led us through that. So yeah, it was probably similar, but yeah, it was very interesting to just, be very mindful with your thoughts and just concentrating on the act of walking, right? That is bringing mindfulness to your day. So why don't we start out, and if people want to discuss, do you use breath work or mindfulness or meditation in your day? Like, what does that look like?
I try when I get up.
Good.
When I get dressed and before I have breakfast, I sit and concentrate on my breathing and do what I would call meditate, reflect on what the day is going to be, perhaps say a prayer, and consider that my time of breathing and meditation to start my day out.
That's beautiful. That's a good way to do it. And, not everyone, and that's why I'm asking this question, because not everyone's meditation looks the same, right?
Right.
Corinne does, I'm going to the chat, she does controlled mindful breathing at night.
Okay.
Yeah, so she states, because she said this to everyone, she has a serious illness that can make her nervous system go bonkers. So this helps her regulate. Yes, and we see that in people with chronic inflammatory response syndrome, people with like mold illness or POTS or something like that, where, or past trauma, that can really override that sympathetic and parasympathetic balance. So that breath brings that back in and helps, kind of calm that down, bring that parasympathetic response back to the body.
Is it better in the morning or in evening? Is there a better time to do it?
So I think that whenever you can do it and get it done is the best time. Because we get busy, we forget. I do the 4-7-8 breath, which I'm going to walk us all through. I do that when I'm laying in bed at night. And I do it with actual pelvic floor exercises, and I activate my core and everything. And I do the mindful breathing with the 4-7-8. So I kind of do 2 in 1. But we'll go through that. So, and then in the morning, when I was pregnant, I had the best routine because I didn't have a baby. I woke up, I did my Juve red light therapy, and I meditated for 10 minutes while it went on my face. And it was great. I felt amazing when I was pregnant because I felt like I had a little bit more time.
Yes. And you did. Yeah.
Right. So I think whenever you can, sometimes, like this morning I did yoga and I did my breath work and meditation during my flow. So I did more of a moving meditation, right? And that's okay too. Like the walking meditation you can do, that's described in the book. Also, the book mentions forest bathing or forest therapy. I have a podcast, the Integrative Health Podcast with Dr. Jen, and I think episode 4 or 5, I spoke with, her name is Jules, and she's a forest therapist. And I don't know about you guys, but when I just go out in nature, when I'm outside with the kids, when it's still, whether it's summer or winter, you can feel you just feel different, right? Yeah, nature is so grounding. Yeah,
right.
Nature is so grounding. Have any of you tried forest bathing, where you just walk in the forest and kind of feel the energy, see what nature is kind of trying to explain to you, kind of get lost in nature, because that's meditation.
In Asbury Woods, I do whenever I can get there.
Yeah, that is beautiful. We took the kids there when we were
Yes.
visiting my
Yeah.
parents. Yeah, it's in Erie, Pennsylvania, and it's just a very nice path. Just woods. Like I know in Toledo, there's so many nice metro
Yeah.
parks.
Right. It's hard in the winter.
Yeah, so the winter, still get out there, right?
Right.
I know it's colder, but we don't have to be afraid of the cold. And you can still really appreciate the stillness, the nature sounds, in nature. So don't let that discourage you unless it's icy. Be careful.
Right. That's right. It has been very icy the last couple of days.
Yeah. And then Corinne in the chat, she yes, as a kid she did intuitively. I would walk with my horse. Sometimes I wish I still could. Yeah, that's beautiful. Um, I think kids are very much more intuitive than we are, with nature. And, when we can tap in with them. So let's talk about some breath work we can do with our kids or grandchildren. So box breathing is one of them. Okay. So you have them tracing the air a box, and they breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, and you go back and forth and you trace that box for a few minutes. And that's really going to have them focus on their breathing and their breath work. So you could ask them to kind of calm down and do that while they're calming down. I just try to do it in little spurts with my kids so then it becomes more normal and then they can slow down. Um, Yoga for kids is going to be good. I know I taught kids yoga like before COVID a lot and loved my kids in the class and they did really well. Boys it's a little harder. Girls are a little bit more like I don't want to say easier, but I felt like they just did it more naturally.
Accepting.
Yeah.
Accepting of the process.
Yes, that's a good. But boys can still, do it. And even like all of our kids, or grandkids, they have different personalities. So just meet them where they're at and introduce it slowly.
We have at the house I bought their cards. It's called yoga pretzels.
Yes,
And so I do that with my boys and they really like it.
that's great. Yeah, I've heard of those cards. I have some like mindfulness cards that it's kind of like different activities you can do with mindfulness. So I think for kids, anything that you can get them to, yes, stay, the pretzel cards where they're using the different poses and staying in them and breathing, the box breathing, do a gratitude journal or just at dinner do roses and thorns or what was your favorite part of the day. So just bringing positivity, gratitude, and mindfulness, right? Okay, so for adults we're a little bit, I think we're more difficult, right? We're too busy to meditate. Personally in my practice, my office and my patients, it's the hardest thing to get people to change. Okay. We can, I could recommend all the supplements. I could, we could give all the medications, we could do all the lab tests. But if you don't really work on that adrenal, hypopituitary adrenal access, then you might not get to where you want to be in health. Our stress and our cortisol really affects our well-being, right? And especially in 2020, I have seen just a lot of people where this is the year they've had some health crises or things come up that normally they are not used to, right? And what we can do to combat that is do our breath work, do our meditation. So this is why it's one of the 4 pillars, okay? Now, one simple breath exercise that I love that we're going to do together tonight is the 4-7-8 breath. Have you guys heard of that one?
No.
Okay.
In and then hold and then breathe out longer.
Yeah. So we're going to inhale for 4, you hold for 7, and then you exhale for 8. Okay. And we're all going to do it together. So you do that and you do it 3 times. Okay. With your eyes open or closed. and then you repeat it a couple times during the day. Okay. So I'll do it maybe if I'm driving and I just am like, I should do this, or if I'm driving and feeling stressed. Like I said, I do it before bed. And then if you do it on a regular basis, then when you need it to get in that state of relaxation, then, oh, I hear the baby. Oh no. Then if you need to be in that, do you guys see him?
Yes.
If you need, my husband should be listening. Come here, baby. You want to do breath work with me? Oh, sweet boy. Oh, and can daddy take you to bed?
Come here.
Love you. Hi, bye. He just wanted to make a guest appearance. Okay. So then if you're really feeling the stress, I remember particularly the 4-7-8 breath. I used it one time when I was so stressed out in the airport. It was when we only had 3 kids, but gosh, like the kids were just driving me like bonkers, right? It was just like, and there was like flight stuff, you know, and I was just like, first I was like, okay, gratitude. We have to think about gratitude. And then I did the 4-7-8 breath, and it helped me chill out, right? You know, we use other things to make us chill out. We use alcohol, you know, people use drugs, right? The mind and breath work is so powerful. So let's practice this together. You know, it's a really powerful tool that it's free, right? And you can do it yourself, so it's cool. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys cues and we're gonna do it together. So 3 times through. Okay, inhale for 4. Hold for 7. Exhale for 8. Inhale for 4. Hold for 7. Exhale for 8. Inhale for 4. Hold for 7. Exhale for 8. Okay, so how do you guys feel after that? Oh, I might have rushed it. So just like 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000. Yeah, you can be a little slower. So you should feel a little bit more relaxed, right? You might not be comfortable with it at first, but like I said, practice it at least once to twice a day. Okay. You can practice it, you know, when you wake up, when you go to bed, when you're in the car. Don't close your eyes though, you know, any time, right?
Can I just add something about
Yeah.
the breath?
Mm-hmm.
I was just talking to a psychologist yesterday. I was interviewing her for something, and we talked about toddler tantrums. And she was saying around the age of 18 months is when kids are able to understand this concept. So even if they're not able to count and do it right, just having them sort of pause at the start of when they seem to be emotionally breaking down is a good habit to start really young. So they're just used to sort of taking that moment to kind of catch themselves before tantrums are normal developmentally, but also it's just kind of good to take that second. So I just wanted to chime in for any parents.
Yeah, I love that. And you know, what happens when we get upset? Our breath increases, right? So yeah, slowing that down would be great. So yeah, I think that for sure. Yeah, so now, so let's see, David, when do you want to, David was going to delight us with a little bit of Tai Chi, or we can do the metta meditation. So whatever you prefer.
Well, there's a quick breathing, moving thing that just take like 2 minutes to try to get people to do, and you need to be standing up. So if you want to try that.
All right, I'm cool with that.
Okay. Just a short amount of time.
Yeah.
So we're gonna stand with our feet under our hips, our arms down by our sides. We're gonna lift the top of our head like it's being pulled up by a string, you know. Tuck our chin slightly. Relax the shoulders. You relax the breathing. And it starts by progressively moving your arms out and letting your wrists fall forward. That's on an in-breath. And then you bend the elbows, bring the hands back in. Drop the hands, pull the fingertips back, drop the hands down by your side. That's one cycle. So you get in the posture, lift the top of the head, tuck the chin, relax the shoulders, and you breathe in, lift the wrist and lean forward slightly by the weight of your arms pulling you forward. And you breathe. It's one breath, so it's down with the hands is the start. So we breathe in, back, out. Breathe in. Wrists bend at the elbows. Push the palms down, pull the fingertips back at your side so your fingertips are pulled back. And you do that small movement while you're breathing in and breathing out. And it tries to fill your abdominal cavity with lots of air and get that air exchange, and that helps you calm down along with the movement. And that's all there is to it. So it's like 3 or 4 times. And that's the first move to the Tai Chi form, or the Wu style Tai Chi form anyway. So it's in, wrist up, out, wrist down, in, wrist up. It's like a little Michael Jackson lean where you're leaning forward when the wrists are out, back and down. And kind of match it with your breath, slower. And it's in through the nose and out through the nose. So you want to kind of feel like a ski jumper where you're leaning forward and you're grabbing the floor with your toes. And then leaning back and then pushing down, pointing back on the fingertips. And that's the first move. And it's just done once during Tai Chi, but it can be a Qigong, which is the breathing and the meditation at the same time. So you can try it a few times during the day. You know, you're sitting somewhere, or you're tied up and you can't move around a lot in your office. You 3 or 4 different breaths like that can calm you down. And then that's like moving meditation, and that's what Tai Chi is. The whole form is you're moving, you're meditating, and you're using your breath. So hopefully that's informative.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
That makes me, I just think that, could anyone else, so are you supposed to feel on the exhale when you're bringing your hands down? I could feel the energy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. You can kind of push down into the earth, feel it.
Yeah.
Highest heaven, lowest earth. So bringing it through your body.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely feel that. And that's like, yeah, moving the energy through. Mm-hmm. That makes me want to think that I need to incorporate some Qigong or Tai Chi into my week. I mean, would once a week be beneficial, do you think, David?
It is. Some people take it. I started once a week. I couldn't even do more than once a week. I had a bunch of back surgeries and all kinds of things led it to me through a Henry Ford hospital system here in Detroit. And it's been really good. And I started it as a therapy thing, and then it becomes a way of life. And it's very helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing that with us and your gift. That was very awesome. So just try to, remember that, this is recording and we'll put it on the site so you can come back to these different techniques because everyone's different. So not everyone likes the same thing, right? So I think that is really cool. Okay. So does anyone else want to comment on anything before we do a little bit of the meta meditation? All right. So we'll get you, just get in a comfy spot. Okay. I'm sitting in half lotus just on the floor with a yoga mat, on my sits bone. So with meditation, you can be seated, you can have yourself in a chair with your feet on the ground. Hands can be facing down or facing up. Some people like them different ways depending on the energy. You want to be comfortable. And then you also have to realize that while you're meditating, you're going to feel uncomfortable, right? You're going to have an itch on your nose. Your foot's going to be falling asleep. You're going to have an itch on your face. And those are just some distractions that you're just going to focus back on the breath, right? And that's what mindfulness is that you are just focusing on the breath. You're going to have those other distractions be put aside. The biggest challenge when I started meditating was the laundry list of things coming through my head, okay? You're thinking about the to-do list, you're thinking about how the day went or what the day is to bring. Those will get better, okay? And I know a lot of people, especially when I talk to my patients, they don't like to meditate because they don't think they're good at it. You're not going to get good at it unless you practice it more. And for me, 5 minutes a day is all I need. I wish I could meditate for longer, but 5 to 10 minutes is kind of what I can do. And I don't do it every day, even though I should, but then I'll do the breath work or whatnot later. So, just because you can't do it perfectly doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. When you have those thoughts come in your mind while you're meditating, just kind of acknowledge them and then release them, right? So I like to give the visual of like a butterfly, like floating by, right? So it comes in and then you're just releasing it, right? Like you did when you were a kid with those little monarch butterflies, they would hatch and then you'd release them. So don't judge them, don't judge the thoughts, just acknowledge them and release. So that's what I like to think about a lot. You can do guided meditation. Okay, so guided meditation where you have someone, which I'm going to do a sort of guided meditation, which is a metta meditation, a loving kindness meditation. And I'm going to go through that and I'll just be talking. So you're going to be listening to me talking and focusing on your breath. And those kind of meditations might be easier to start with. Sometimes I will do a body scan meditation where you're scanning through your body and you're acknowledging what is tense and what you can release. Okay. So there's all sorts of different meditations, which is awesome because you can find which one you like best. There's lots of different apps on the phone. Certain ones, they're called Headspace is one of them. There's Insight Timer, there's Calm. I have been using Insight Timer a lot because I'll search on there 5-minute meditation, 10-minute meditation, gratitude meditation, and then it will come up. There's even mantra ones, like positive affirmations. So it can be just someone kind of repeating the same affirmation while you're sitting there and kind of meditating on it. So all of these are different, okay? If you sit down to a meditation and you feel very antsy, like you need to get up, you can't sit still, well, you might have to move first, maybe go on a walk, do a yoga class, and then meditate, okay? Not everyone's the same. Not everyone can just sit and meditate, without moving. So Corinne says she has a great one, a health affirmation she falls asleep to a lot on YouTube. So that's great. If you know the title of it, Corinne, you can share it with us. I'll make sure everyone can read that. Okay, so we're going to go through the metta meditation. It'll be about 10 minutes, okay, not super long, okay? So get in a comfortable position. And for this one, I place my hands on my heart for this loving kindness one, for the energy. You can put your hands wherever. Okay. slowly focus on your breathing in and out through your nose, breathing deep into the abdomen. Bring the awareness to the breath. You can repeat these words to yourself in your mind as I go through the affirmations of the metta meditation. May I be happy. May I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I be kind. Now I want you to think about a loved one, whether it be a family member or a friend. May you be happy. May you be safe. May you be peaceful. May you be kind. Now I want you to think about someone that you're having a hard time with in life. That might be a family member, a friend, a coworker. May you be happy. May you be safe. May you be peaceful. May you be kind. Now I want you to think about the whole country or the whole world. Think about a great area of people and of mankind. May you be happy. May you be safe. May you be peaceful. May you be kind. Take a few more deep, thoughtful breaths here. And if your hand is on your heart, do you feel any different energy at your heart? Maybe a little softening. Focus on the breath, letting any thoughts come into the mind and release them. Bringing love and kindness to yourself and peaceful thoughts. You could take 2 more breaths here. And slowly open your eyes. And bring awareness back to the room. Moving your hands and your legs. So this meditation, the love and kindness or meditation that it's called, it's a very nice, I think, very loving meditation. It brings, loving yourself and then, bringing love to the ones you love, which is easier. And then when you show that love and kindness towards someone that you're having a hard time with, I think that is a very important part of the meditation. I always feel a softening in my heart and a warmth after this meditation. I would use this one in the kids' yoga class, and the kids would really like it too. So it's one that maybe you could do with your kids. It's pretty easy, and because it's kind of guided, it's not as difficult, right? So that's a good one to do. They have those on YouTube or on those different apps that I talked about also. So How did you guys feel after that meditation?
I could really tell. I will do that one for sure.
Great.
Loved it.
Oh, good. Yeah, I was
The
looking.
warmth in your chest and in your arms, you really felt like this, like it's like a hug, is a transfer of energy, and that's kind of how.
Good way to put it.
Yeah, it is. And that's why, I like to do it on my heart, but anywhere. Yeah, honestly, before I did my fellowship and, before 3 years ago, I would pray, but I never meditated. I did savasana and yoga, and I loved yoga because you get that yoga high after, right? You just feel very zen, right? And it's not the yoga, it's the savasana, it's the meditation. So it got me to realize that it is something in my life that I needed. And I wish in residency, when I was stressed and going through medical school, that I had someone telling me that this was a very important part of my day that I should have done. So one of my goals is to, with my kids, make sure that they know, they have those tools as they go through life. So Corinne said it was great, relaxing and warm. Yes, I think that's a great way to describe it. And okay, she's talking about, so if the quality of breath matters, so would a 360 breath be better than just a regular breath? Yes. So on my recent podcast, I had an exercise specialist speak about the 360 breath. So when you're breathing, let's see if we can see. So you're breathing your whole abdomen, right? It's 360 degrees. So what that means is you're breathing deep into your abdomen. We're not breathing with our shoulders, okay? So we're not supposed to breathe up. We're supposed to breathe out and down. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, those short, breaths like that, that's not a good deep breath. So yeah, really increasing that inner thoracic pressure and getting a deep breath. And this is important. We need to have good breath and good breath work. It helps our immune system. It helps our lung function. Okay. So yes, that's very important. And then Corinne put the YouTube link if anyone wants to have that link. I will try to post that on the website. Meditation for Health. So that's great. She said it really helps with her sympathetic overdrive. So what kind of strategies do you guys think that you will incorporate with the meditation and breath work? Where do you guys seen this part of the pillars happen in your life?
I think it is one that is much needed. And I said that I feel I do meditate, but I will focus on some of the areas you've given me tonight. I liked the one with the hands on my heart. And reflecting on what's going on in the world. And I do that all the time, but usually with stress. And this is a way to look at it, while relaxing and trying to let it go.
Yeah, that's great.
I feel like it's important that it doesn't have to be a long period of time, like 5 minutes you can get a lot of benefit from. So it's something that you realistically could incorporate into your day.
Yes, I agree. And I really enjoyed when I was at my fellowship retreats and we would have hour-long meditation where it really was like 45 minutes, I think was the longest. And it kind of made me nervous. I was like, am I really going to be able to meditate for 45 minutes? And it was amazing. And I felt amazing after. So I think the longer sessions are amazing too. But I'm also realistic with just life. And, that's why I say even just 5 minutes a day where you're focusing on that mindfulness and increasing that stress resilience is amazing. I mean, the difference that it makes with that.
Sometimes it helps to even schedule it. I'm going to meditate for 5 minutes before lunch or at 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. And I'm going to do it every day. So I make sure that I try to get it in.
Yeah, I think that's very
And
important.
there are apps where you do that too. I can't remember the names of them offhand, but I've seen before, heard before, that there are apps where they'll send you reminders at certain times of the day, because sometimes it's just remembering or set an alarm, like you said, David, just to have it set at a certain time, just some sort of reminder to stop in your tracks and do it.
Yeah, you could label it 478 breath, because you can do that in the mix, whatever, or
Mm-hmm.
box breathing. When your kids come home from school, you can make that alarm. So you do box breathing with your kids. Be like, hey, let's huddle. Because yeah, I mean, what happens when you get stressed out or you're not being mindful, right? You're distracted, you're grumpy, right? You have a short fuse, which, I felt that creeping on like today. And that's why I was like, oh, I'm looking forward to this. Just because you can feel it kind of creeping up. So I think that there is a quote that I saw somewhere, and it says, you don't have time to not meditate, right? Like we're like all so busy, I don't have time to do this. But you have time. We're on our social media, you have time to meditate. So I think that is a great idea to set a reminder or get an app that has a reminder until it becomes a habit or you crave it, right?
And I think it'll help you be more efficient with the time that you have. They say if you're studying, for example, that if you take an hour study or do work for 50 minutes and then take a 10-minute break. So if you just kind of force yourself to take a break, you'll probably be more efficient and productive the rest of the time or the rest of the day.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And though it doesn't really go with like breath work per se, I'm a big fan of gratitude journaling, writing down 3 things you're grateful for every day. For 30 days, they've done studies that has shown that it has rewired brain, and more of a positive mindset, to set. Yeah, Corinne says gratitude is life changing. It is really. It has really helped me, especially just in the everyday stressors of mom life, which is the season I'm at right now. And it might not be the season that everyone's at, but for example, now when, my kids spill something or when they're whining or something, I try to take deep breaths. I'm trying to, I say I'm grateful that they're healthy, right? That they can whine, that they can, do all these things because, not everyone is at the same place. Not, I'm just grateful my kids are healthy, and that kind of stuff. So, I'm grateful that I can move and walk every day. And there are meditations that are gratitude meditations. I was listening to one that said, be grateful that you are breathing right now. Be grateful that your fingers can move. So I think that we can find gratitude in everything. And then if we make it a habit, when you're going through something hard, then you can really just look at it from a standpoint of gratitude. When Emery was in the pediatric ICU twice in November, 2 weeks apart, it was really scary. But I kept, telling myself, I'm so grateful that he is not chronically ill, that this is something that is a short-term thing. And it just really flipped my mind. There's children out there with chronic cancer or illnesses that are in the hospital all the time. And it really put a perspective on things from a gratitude standpoint, to be grateful for my kids' health. So and like Corinne said, gratitude's life-changing. And she mentioned she's going through some health issues. So I think that's amazing that she practices gratitude. Do you guys do gratitude journaling at all, or is it something that you would try?
I have tried and haven't been real successful.
Okay.
I've done it, and I actually did it as a surprise for my husband when him and I were having a rough patch. I started a journal saying every day 3 things I was thankful for that he did or that I saw in him that day. And it really shifted my perspective in the day. Instead of catching him doing things wrong, I was looking for the good because I'm like, I got to write something down tonight. And so it sort of forced me to shift my perspective for the day. And it actually really helped. And then I surprised him with it and gave it to him.
Nice.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, I think there is a book about like marriage or something. One of my friends was telling me that, you know, they did that you look for the positives in that relationship. So did that really put a different perspective on your relationship in general? Yeah.
It did. It really it helped. And he didn't know about it. I kept it a surprise. So he even said after I gave it to him, he had noticed an improvement in our relationship as well, but he didn't know the why.
Oh, I love that. How long did you do that for?
A couple months. I was planning on doing it for longer, but I just couldn't wait to give it to him. I plan on doing it. Well, I didn't have an exact time in mind, but it ended up just being a couple months.
Wow, that's beautiful. I love that. I might actually do that.
It's better when they don't know about it too.
Right.
You could do it with your kids too.
Yeah. Oh, I love that idea. Just writing down that for the kids, it might be better just to, you know, write it down every day and show them weekly.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah, we February, we didn't do it last year, so I want to do it this year. We did acts of random kindness for February. So I want to, like, we did a tree, and every time the kids did a random act of kindness, whether it's, you know, helping take the garbage out or being a good friend at school, they would get to put a heart up until we filled the tree. We would, you know, put dollars like up in the Dollar Tree so people could buy stuff, you know, just silly things, and a nice card somewhere, you know, on someone's car. So I think we're going to do that again this year to just show kindness. You know, and while that's not really breath work and meditation, I think that's part of the gratitude, which is part of the mindfulness and mindset. So something like that would be a fun activity to do with kids also. Okay, so Corinne, so she said I should journal, but I shifted my thoughts more so and would walk around the house and look outside and speak gratitude for the beautiful sky or grass at my home and my bed, having a roof over the heads to really override bad thoughts or not focusing on what I don't have. That's beautiful. Like my health, because it's been bad. Yeah. But I think that what you're doing for your health is really great. So yeah, that brings up a good point. So say you are in the habit of gratitude or mindfulness. I think once you get in the habit of that and it becomes a routine, once you go outside in nature, let's say, and walk around, you'll notice things you haven't seen before. You'll see gratitude in the things you haven't seen gratitude in before, like, you know, looking outside, the sun is out, you know, especially if you live in Northwest Ohio. Like today, oh my gosh, the sun is out. It's beautiful. Where is that, right? Because we don't see it a lot. So I think stuff like that is very important, and that's part of breathing and being alive and that positive mindset. So I think that about wraps things up. You know, this was a shorter chapter, but it's still one of the 4 pillars, right? So, you know, I'll miss, you know, these book clubs. I do have my integrative health community that I'm going to be doing live Q&As on there and stuff. So, you know, you guys can see me there, and I'm on Instagram all the time, of course. But, you know, we have more ideas for this, Lars and Connor and I, and we're just really excited about putting a different spin on health. And, you know, we think these things are important. And probably when you go to your primary care doctor, they don't talk about any of these, right?
No.
I went want to commend you because through watching you on social media, I feel like you are walking the walk and not just talking the talk. And it is really impressive. And it's been an honor to kind of follow your journey with everything you're doing. And thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Deanna. That's really sweet. Yeah. I'm not perfect, and that's why I share my unperfectness on social media all the time. Like today when I was cooking with my son and he dumped bone broth all over the ground. I do work out every day because I get grumpy if I don't work out. I don't meditate all day. Sometimes I eat too much chocolate or sugar, but I don't eat gluten. I just don't. But sleeping, I try to prioritize that. But gosh, once every couple months, I'll stay up till 1 a.m., watching Netflix. So I think it's just, when you look at it, just keep at it, don't throw away. If you have one bad day, just don't say, oh, I'm going back to, not caring about this stuff. So set an example for your kids and your spouse. My husband, he tries, and he's changed so much over the last couple of years, and reads labels, and we go to sleep well. He's working out a lot more now. I can't get him to meditate, but I think the more he sees me do it, the more he might. So yeah, keep setting an example, but don't be too hard on yourself also. And it is a journey. It took me a long time to implement things and decide that, this was important for me. And I'm coming from a super conventional, medical conventional training. So the fact that I value this stuff, I like to teach because I want people to know that it is important and it has a place in medicine and health, because I came from that other side. All right. And then Corinne said it's so hard to live with chronic disease. I know. And she says I inspire you. You're sweet. So yeah, keep working on those 4 pillars. If you have chronic disease, that will only help your recovery. And then, doing those 4 pillars, we want to help prevent chronic disease, right? And then I go into a lot more detail in all of these things, like I said, on Instagram and stuff like that too. But sometimes I think it's best just to, to oversimplify it and go back to the basics too, right?
Thank you, Jen. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you for joining, Margaret. And thank you everyone for supporting me, and Lars and Connor, and buying the book. We really appreciate it. We just did this because we want to kind of make a wave, right? Hopefully a wave, not just a little like pebble drop. So we want to keep getting the word out there and make a difference, in the health in the US.
Well, keep up the good work.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, David, for Tai Chi today.
Mhm.
It's been such a blast getting to know you all the last month. So I will post this on my blog, with the other ones if you guys ever want to reminisce or share with friends, okay?
Thank you, Jen.
You're welcome. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.